I mean, I literally, a tear kind of started coming down my eye because I'm like, I just don't. That's not for me. No offense to anybody in a cubicle right now, because you got to work and you got to do what you got to do, but it's just not for me. And I mean, I think I'd rather go out in the woods and just chop wood, all day, do something like that instead of anything like that. Anyway, so I get back in my car and I'm like sitting there totally depressed, like I can't believe this is what's gonna happen. And that's when I got a call right then and there from Justin's right hand guy, and he was like, yeah, he wants you to, it's a secret, so I need you to come out here and work for like 3 weeks with a couple of my producers. Didn't tell me right off bat like what I was working on. And I was like, okay, all right. I think I can do that. And I started smiling, and I hung up the phone. And then I was sitting there thinking, like, why would he fly me from Memphis all the way out there? You're in L.A. where all these fabulous guitar players are. Why would you fly me out there for 3 weeks? Who's paying for this? Like, what's going on, And then I talked to, like, somebody close to Justin. He's like, he's picked 5 people to work on his album, and you're one of them. I'm like, what? So, yeah, it was myself, Jerome Harmon, who's Timberland's musical guy, keyboard player, Rob Knox, who is one of Justin's producers, James Fauntleroy, who is murdering it right now, songwriting-wise, and myself. And we went it for 3 weeks, turned into 7 months. I was in L.A., New York, back and forth, worked on all of Timberland's new album. I did work with Beyonce, Carrie Hilson, Cher. Jay-Z's got a new album that came out today. I got a cut on that. And I did some guitar work and bass work on there. And then I did all the stuff on Justin's 2020 Experience, which is great. And then I think December of this past year, when we were finishing up the album and everything, he was like, well, be ready to go on tour? I was like, what? Yes, so I've been in the band since January. We just got home from a month-long rehearsals with him and Jay-Z, which we're about to go into Ireland in 2 days, starting the tour with those two.
So can you talk a little bit more about your experience making 2020 Experience and like how that process was and what that was like?
It was really intense. I was really nervous because honestly, when I got dropped, I didn't pick up the guitar. I put it down. And I was in another band called Lord T and Eloise that was doing a lot, and I don't play guitar in there. I wear a wig and I rap. So I was actually trying to pursue that more. I was kind of like, screw free soul, I was, and I didn't play guitar. So I was really nervous because I was out of practice, and also Justin had a camera crew there. He filmed it. He documented the whole thing. So the first thing I played when I was out there, basically like I had a guitar and we were working on the first song, and Justin goes, all right, the chorus chords, I want you to invert them, arpeggiate them backwards, and then like give me like a chorus delay. Okay, go. And I'm sitting there going, okay, conversion, okay, got that, and then meanwhile, like when he says okay, go, suddenly lights are all over me. There's a guy under me with a camera. There's a camera right to my left. And I'm shaking, because I'm like, I'm going to be sent home any minute. I'm going to be sent home any minute,
Yeah.
And just one part after the next part. And then Justin went off to do a movie, and Timbaland was like, stay here, And we really, like, did all the intros and outros of 2020 Experience, really, like, got into it, laid all these crazy parts. And I had a new piece of gear that had just come out on the market, and I was really, like, tweaking it and making guitar sounds that you would never know as a guitar, like real synth out stuff. But it was really cool. The first 3 or 4 months I was there, I couldn't say anything about being involved in it. I mean, it was like a freaking 60-page NDA I had to do. And all these people at home are like, where's Elliott? What's he doing? People are calling me for gigs, blues gigs here. Why can't we book Lord Tina Louise, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I couldn't say anything, And that was really hard on some friendships, and especially on Free Soul guys. That was really tough because I couldn't tell them what I was doing. And, but eventually, once I got to speak about it, it was all good. But I tell you, Justin works really fast, and Tim works really fast, and their chemistry in the studio it was amazing to witness it every day. Just how they make these hit records,
Yeah. So when you were making the album, could you tell that it was going to just be huge? Because that album is just blown up.
Yeah, I think so. I think there was times where I got so comfortable with everybody. Everybody was so cool and so easy to be with. I didn't really think about the magnitude of the star power that Justin has until like we'd go out. Like, you guys want to go out tonight? You know, we'd go out and I'd be like, wait a minute, this dude is huge.
Yeah.
You know, but in the studio, it's like, you know, you don't have to worry about fans or, you know, anybody climbing the walls or anything. It's just everybody's being themselves and being ultra creative. And so it took a while. I think when December came and we added Suit and Tie, and Jay-Z came in, and then Beyonce came in. I mean, there was one time I was in a room, and I was in my headphones, and I'm like down in my chair on Logic, like programming something, because you know there's a lot of hours where you're not needed. You know, any minute they'll be like, okay, do this. I'm sitting there, you know, I don't even know how long, and I look up, and it's just me in the room, and it's Beyonce, Pharrell, Busta Rhymes, Timberland, Justin, his wife, and Jessica Biel, and who else was Missy Elliott.